Shalom Lakah Yabarakakah Bashamayim Bahashim Hamashiach Yahawashah. Through the Spirit, I'm going to get into this subject about birthdays and why it's not a good idea to celebrate them, right? Um, First, you know, doing the birthdays, it's a form of self worship, first of all. So we're going to get into the scriptures about who should really be worshipped. I want to go into, I'm going to go to Psalms real quick. We go to Psalms 96. You're going to go to Psalms, actually, we go to Psalms 18 since we already in this area. Psalms chapter 18, verse 3, right? It said, Salaki, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, Psalms 18 and 3. It says, I will call upon Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised, so shall I be saved from my enemies. So it talk about how the Most High is worthy to be praised, right? So another scripture. Actually, it's likely we're gonna go to Psalms 96. Psalms chapter 96, verse 4 says, For Yahweh is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. So the scriptures, I don't have to go into too much more. The scriptures tell you about how the Most High is worthy to be praised, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this document. First of all, okay, before I do that, I want to go somewhere else really quick. 1 second. Because the Most High is the only one that should be being worshipped, honestly. And like I said, when we are up here, and we dealing with birthdays, you saying it's your day, everything is all about you. But I thought that the Most High is the one that set days and the days that we should hold special. That is where we should get what days we should hold, right? He gives us everything in this book. Now, if you go to let me see. Oh, here we go. Go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. It says, Thou shalt have no other gods before me, right? And yeah, some people are going to we talking about you shouldn't worship any other God before him, bow down before any other God. But in the scriptures, if you go to Psalms chapter 82, verse 6, it calls us gods, right? And if you go to John chapter 10, verse 34, Yahweh Shah said that he has called us gods, right? So if you're showing worship to yourself, if you having other people praise you just because it's what you call your day, that's you putting another God before the Most High. Because all that worship that people wasting on you just because of the day you were born on, they could be, putting that something, directing that to something else that's going to benefit people, because people worshiping you and holding you up high and spending all day trying to make you feel good because it's the day you was born on. That's people showing worship towards you and idolizing you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get into. Let's just go here. I'm gonna just, like I said, go through the spirit. So I'm gonna read this. First of all, yeah, we gonna do this. I'm gonna go to, it's this site called www.sermonaudio.com, right? And it has a little section on birthdays. It says birthdays, pagan/occult origins, the highest of all days, holidays in the Satanic Bible. So if and let's think about that. If birthdays are the highest held days in the Satanic Bible, that should lift the eyebrow right there. That should tell you, okay, if these Satanists are worshiping this as the highest day in their Bible, maybe I want to back away from that. And it's not of the Most High, because the Most High never said keep this day. He never said keep your birthday throughout your generations. You know what I'm saying? Like, now he has talked about Feast of Unleavened Bread, you know what I'm saying? Passover, you know what I'm saying? Feast of Tabernacle, blowing of the trumpets, all those are days he gave us, but he nowhere said keep your birthday throughout your generations. Nah. You know, and I'll read a little bit. It said there is an affinity of such commemoration among the wicked as recorded in the Satanic Bible. It says Anton whatever LaVey, Air, Book of Lucifer, The Enlightenment, whatever. It don't even matter what the name of the book is. It says the highest of all holidays in the Satanic religion is the date of one's own birth. It says this is in direct contradiction to the holy days of other religions. You know what I'm saying? So that's cut right there. It said which defy a particular God who has been created in an anthropomorphic form of their own image. It says thereby showing that the ego is not really buried. The Satanist feels, why not really be honest? And if you are going to create a God in your image, why create the God? It says, why not create that God as yourself? Every man is a God if he chooses to recognize himself as one. No, so the Satanist celebrates his own birth as the most important holiday of the year. You know what I'm saying? And that's, even that alone, you know what I'm saying? If these satanic people that worship Satan, that are opposite Antichrist of the Most High, keep that day, why would, you know what I'm saying? And as holding it as the highest day of the year, why would we do that? And only bad things happen on birthdays in the Bible. And I'm going to get a few scriptures, like we already made it clear, you know, in Psalms 96:4, Psalms um 18:3, I think it was, that the Most High is worthy to be praised. You know what I'm saying? He is worthy to be praised. We don't deserve praise. That's why we say all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High, because he is the one that deserves praises. And when people are celebrating your birthday, they are praising you for nothing, just for being born. You know what I'm saying? It don't make sense. But I want to go into this. I want to go to, first of all, let's go to the first account of a birthday in the Bible, Genesis chapter 40. Right, Genesis chapter 40 and verse 20, I believe it starts at. Genesis chapter 40, verse 20. It says, and it came to pass the third day. I'm just going to the point. The third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants, and he restored the chief butler into his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand, but he hanged the chief baker as Joseph interpreted to them. So because it was a dream that the baker had, and Joseph just interpreted this dream to him, right? So first account of a birthday in the Bible, and somebody is being hung. Okay. Now, also we know that Pharaoh, these are Egyptians, and also these are heathen because they are not of the Israelites, right? They are not of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So we're going to go, because we know they are heathens, and this is the first account, so that is a heathenistic custom, because the Most High never gave us those days to keep in the Thawara, right? So if it's not written that the Most High gave something to us to do, we shouldn't be doing it. Just to cut it plain and simple. And if you question anything, whether the Most High wants you to do it or not, if it is not within the laws, if it's not been told by us to do within the words of the Most High, because we are his special set apart people, and he gave us customs and things that we should do in order to please him. And if it's not pleasing to him, then we shouldn't be doing it. So luckily, I'm gonna get this scripture in Jeremiah chapter 10 really quick, because it tells us Jeremiah 10:1 says, hear the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. This is the Most High specifically telling the house of Yasharallah, his set apart chosen people, the saints, the real Jews, he says, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, right? That's just the point. Learn not the way of the heathen. So if we go back, and Pharaoh is the first one to hold a celebration for his birthday, and that wasn't given by the Most High, that tells us that that is a heathenistic custom that was started by them, because the Most High didn't give us that. So it says, learn not the way of the heathen. Yet this birthday tradition thing is a heathenistic custom. And also, like I said on the website, it tells you that it is the highest held satanic day. It's held, it's self-worship. That's what they say. And I'll go a little farther. I was saying, so the Satanic celebrate his own birthday as the most important holiday of the year. After all, aren't you happier about the fact that you were born than you are about the birth of someone you have never met? Or for that matter, aside from religious holiday, why pay higher tribute to the birthday of a president or the date in history than we do to the day that we were brought into the greatest of all worlds? Now, okay, you want to talk about how it's more important to talk about your birth than historical days. In my eyes, let's do this. Okay. There we go. But like to me, my date of birth is not as important as the day, like for instance, in history, where my people as a whole were freed from bondage and their suffering stopped from the hands of the Egyptians. Now that should be, yes, it's in. I mean, it's cool. This is the day you was born, the day you came into the world. But we are a body, and the body as a whole is more important than just one individual. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it took my life to save my nation, I would think that it's more important that my nation survive than just me surviving. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, our children from your nation have to go on. You know what I'm saying? So that's more important, that your name, that your nation, that your children, that the rest of the seed, that the Most High's higher purpose for us as a people is accomplished than just for you to be boasted about and for you to have some type of fame. That is wicked and that is evil. You understand? But yeah, I wanted to get this scripture. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7:1. Get it real quick. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 1. It says, "A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting." And the house of feasting, and I'm gonna bring that out right now since I done came across that. The house of feasting, like in Job, when he had his sons. Okay, we're just gonna go straight to it. All right, we're gonna go to Job, right here. Job, we're gonna go to chapter 1, verse verse 4 says, "And his son went and feasted and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day." So now that was the point about this was, it says they went and feasted in their houses, every one his day. So now what do we say when it's your birthday? You say it's your day. You know what I'm saying? So he said every one his day, and sent and called for their three sisters to eat and drink with them. So they were feasting, right? And it was so when the days of their feasting were going about, and Job went and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed the Most High in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. Now, how it says, I'm sorry, we're going to go back up to one. It said to verse 1, Job 1 and 1, it said, "There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she asses, and a very great household. so that his name was the greatest of all the men in the east. And then it goes into what I read about the sons feasting in their house, each on every one in his day, right? And then about how Job prayed for them because, or he made offerings because he said they have sinned and cursed the Most High in their heart. Now, so far, the sons have did nothing but kept a feast, right, for their day, for their birthday. So this has to be saying that it is a sin against the Most High, and that it is. He also said, sin and curse God in their hearts. So the idol worship, that is idolizing yourself, right? And that is also a sin, it's saying, because we're feasting for for this for this day. We're worshiping ourselves, and that's putting, like I said, that's putting a God before the Most High, because we are gods. Thus saith the Bible. Thus saith the Torah. I mean, Salaki, thus saith the prophets, right? And Yahweh Shai. And say, thus he did continually. Now I'm gonna go down a little bit, right, to verse 13, I think it is. Okay, it says, and there was, I'm just getting to the point, saying there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. See, it said they was going to do this feast thing on their day. So the oldest brother's birthday must be at this point. And it says, and there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses feeding beside them, and the sea beams fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servant with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. I'm sorry, Salakia, that was it said the Sabians, Salakia, for that, fell upon them. So the Sabians, they came and killed the oldest son and whoever was in the house. It said, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of the Most High is fallen from heaven and hath burnt all the sheep up. That's not the one I wanted to get about. I want to get the ones about them doing the celebrations. Salaka, verse 18 said, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in the eldest house. I got that. In the eldest house. Okay, and they died pretty much. Pretty much, they were holding a feast for the oldest son's birthday. Is what I'm getting. And they were killed. So the point of that was where verse 4 again, Salaki said, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day. So they were holding celebrations, feasts for their birthdays. And then Job went on to say that he was giving offerings to the Most High because his sons have sinned. You notice it doesn't say his daughters sinned, even though they were involved. It say there that his sons sinned because his sons, it tells you in verse 4, were holding a feast in their houses, everyone on his day. So they were the ones that were holding the feast. But I just wanted to bring that out, right? And it says, I'll go back to Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 2. It says, it is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting. Right? Because, like, one thing, when you go into I'll just keep reading because it brings it out. Then to a house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to heart. Sorrow is better than laughter. By the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. So the heart is made better by dealing with um death, because it makes you think, it makes you reflect. Now, if you just partying, you ain't caring about nothing. You just, you know what I'm saying? You just doing what you're doing in spirits, like they call it, probably drinking. You know what I mean? Call it spirits in a bottle and all that. Like, but you actually reflect and think and look at life in an appreciative manner. You know what I'm saying? Because you looking at this at the house of mourning, and you realizing that time isn't guaranteed. But while you partying and off liquor and all that, you just having a good old time. You're not thinking about nothing. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point of that was to show in Ecclesiastes that it's better to go to a house of death than to be celebrating, and that they sinned according to what Job was saying because of them having these birthday celebrations. And already went to Pharaoh. Now I want to go to Matthew real quick just to bring out another example about these birthdays. I want to bring all these birthdays examples out to show that all these birthdays examples in the book that I have seen, that I have found, are all something bad happening on those days. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 14. We're going to do verses 1 through 11 just to show this is the beheading of John the Baptist. It said at this time Herod, the tetrarch, Salaki, I don't know if I'm saying that right, heard of the fame of Yahushua and said unto his servants, this is John the Baptist. He is risen from the dead, and therefore mighty works do show forth themselves in him. For Herod had laid hold on John and bound him and put him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife. For John had said unto him, it is not lawful for thee to have her. And when he would have put him to death, he feared the multitude because they counted him as a prophet. So he was going to put John to death, but he feared guessing what the people would say, how the people would react, because he was a prophet and the people looked to him. It says, but when Herod's birthday was kept, the daughter of Herod's danced before them and pleased Herod, whereupon he promised with an oath to give her whatsoever she would ask, and she being before instructed of her mother. See these, that's another subject, I ain't gonna get into it. It said, give me here John Baptist's head in a charger. And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, Salagia, and them which for the oath's sake, and for them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her. So he made an oath before he even knew what she was going to ask for, to give her whatever she asked for, as long as she danced for him. And even though he didn't want to do it, because he made an oath and because he promised in front of other people and wanted to be a man of his word, because you nothing without your word, especially back then, that he kept his word, right? And the king was sorry, nevertheless, for the oath's sake, and for them which sat with him at meat, he commanded it to be given her, and sent and beheaded John in prison, and his head was brought in a charger and given to the damsel, and she brought it to her mother. So there we go. You know, you got the Pharaoh, which is the first account, hanging the baker. Then you got this dude Herod beheading John because of a woman. Understand? Wicked. Um, and we're gonna get into another one, which is just as bad. You know, like I said, we had the one where it was a sin, and seems as if the sons of Job were put to death. Um, you know, they were celebrating. That was a sin against the Most High, and they died. Um, you know, I'm not sure if it was because of that Job, as we know, Job was being tested and everything he had did him got took away from him. So it may not have been because they were celebrating that, but he did say that that was a sin, that they had sinned and that they had cursed the Most High in their heart because of what they did right there, because of keeping those feasts on their day. Um, And now, like I said, in Matthew, John got beheaded. That was one account in Matthew that was noted. And we gonna go to Second Maccabees now to bring out just how these people are. And that's why I say learn not the way of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? Because these things, celebrating these birthdays, Easter, Christmas, all this, is learning the way of the heathen. And we know that they are wicked and they don't even know the Most High. You know. And you know, we supposed to, he said, if you love me, keep my commandments, and that's even the laws, and you know, the laws and the statutes and the judgments, all of that we are commanded to keep. And I think some people, they hear the word keep my commandments and they automatically think the 10 commandments, you know what I'm saying? But it's more than 10 commandments, you know what I mean? I want to go to Second Maccabees chapter 6. Second Maccabees chapter 6. No, I'll just read it all the way through. Verse 1, it says, not long after this, the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High. So, right, just the first verse off rip just showed you how wicked this is. So the initial thing, he wanted us to depart from the Most High, to go against the Most High, right? In verse 2 it said, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in Gerizim of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. And coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, because we going against the Most High laws and commandments, and you know we were keeping them, and for them to force us to go against them, that grieved the people. Said, for the temple, verse 4, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles who dallied with harlots. See, they, even in the Most High's holy temple, they bring in harlots in, and you know, all kind of crazy stuff, and had to do with women within the circuit of the holy place. And besides that, brought in things that were not lawful. So they bringing in probably unlawful meats and all kinds of stuff. It says the altar also was filled with profane things, which the law forbiddeth. Says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep the Sabbath, a man to keep the Shabbat days, or ancient feast day, or ancient feasts. So we couldn't do nothing that the law said, right? Or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. And I was just reading that to get, so you'll see what it's going into, what it was about. But this is the point finna come up about the birthdays, right? In verse 7 it said, and in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint. So they would force us, right? to eat of the sacrifices. So we had to eat of these things that the heathen sacrificed, and we know they didn't sacrifice lawful things like the scriptures say they sacrifice unto devils. You know what I'm saying? It said, and when the feast, now they so like I said, and in the day of the king's birth every month, made us do it every month. So we had to do it every month for his birthday. And this is another wicked act committed on birthdays, right? It said every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices, and when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. So the point, like, we had to eat things. They forced us to eat things that they sacrificed. And like we couldn't even call ourselves Jews. We couldn't keep the holy days. We couldn't keep the Shabbat. We couldn't do none of that. And to top it all off, on his birthday, we were forced to eat things sacrificed to their gods, because you know they weren't sacrificing our gods. So we had to eat things sacrificed unto devils, like I was just saying, as the scriptures say. So all those things is wicked, you know what I mean? So we got the Satanic Bible, which says the birthday is the highest holy day. You know what I'm saying? The highest, Salakia, the highest holiday that they hold as the highest of any day out of the year, right? So you say, learn not the way of the heathen off top. And the Most High is the only one that is worthy to be worshipped, but we are worshiping ourselves. And like I said, it was called a sin to hold a feast on the day of your birth in the book of Job. It was the Pharaoh hanged his baker in Genesis. You know, you get Nimrod, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. In the book of Matthew, they get no, Salakia, that wasn't him. But you know, John the Baptist was beheaded for a birthday gift. Then in the book of Maccabees, you got it where they forcing us to eat things sacrificed to devils. You know, so birthdays is just bad from history all the way around, and it's not ordained of the Most High. So you see the history. You could look at the thing for yourself. I'll give you a website if you want to go get that information for yourself about the birthdays. You can actually just go type in on Google origin of birthdays, and the first thing will pop up. It's actually called sermonaudio.com. It says birthday. The first thing pop up if you put in origin of birthdays on Google, birthdays, pagan occults, origins, and the highest of all holy days. But it tells you it's the highest held day, and they tell you we God, so why not make God in our image, when it tells you that the Most High and, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh Shai, they all made us in their image. So what you talking about, make God in your image, which is what these heathen nations do, because they don't like that the Most High looks like us, because they hate us. But yeah, like I said, like I brought it out, and you can see birthdays through the scriptures, through history. It's just jacked up all the way around. Anyway, say shalom.